Pepper Maniacs, Liz Harmon here, and guess what? It's time for another edition of Let's Cook in My Kitchen. So tonight we're going to make some awesome comfort food that, guess what, is actually healthy. Woohoo! So we're going to be making some delicious grilled salmon in the microwave. We'll also be making au gratin potatoes in the microwave grill as well. And I've got a really sweet holiday edition appetizer for you guys to check out here in a minute too. So first things first, I've already got my potatoes peeled and then also used our mandolin, got them all nice and thin because we need them nice and thin so they'll cook evenly and quickly. So we're gonna go put these into our grill. So follow me over here. So this is our Micro Pro grill. This is absolutely incredible. It's got the anodized aluminum in there. It's coated. It goes in your microwave, but it will not blow it up. I promise you this because yes, this is metal. So when you put it in the microwave, it blocks out a lot of the microwaves that will get into your food otherwise. So it's a great way to cook healthy. You don't have to use butter. You don't use oil or anything like that. So it's a very nice way to get a healthier meal but still get the great flavors. It has two different settings. You can put it on the grill setting or the casserole setting, just depending on how you put the lid on the base. See, like this, that would be the grill setting. It goes all the way down, cooks your food nice and even. If you turn it the other way, see how it sits up? That's your casserole setting. So this is what we're gonna start out with our potatoes on. We're gonna go ahead and layer them all in here. So you just kind of layer them in just like you would in a regular casserole pan if you were throwing these into the oven. And guess what? These potatoes are going to be done in under 20 minutes. You can't get really delicious home-cooked au gratin potatoes in under 20 minutes in the oven. So this is a great way if you're needing to save some time. Now you may notice this black thing sitting here behind me as I put these in here. That is actually our potato keeper. We've got an onion keeper and a potato keeper that we sell, which is great because potatoes like to actually be kept in the dark. So it keeps your potatoes and your onions fresher longer. So it's a wonderful investment if you are one of those, you like your fresh potatoes, you like your fresh onions, and you buy them in bulk. So now that we've got our potatoes all in there, we're going to come back over here to make up our cheese sauce. First thing I'm going to start out, this is our mix and store pitcher. It is an incredible investment. You have different inserts you can put in here as well as a mixer that can sit in there like if you need to do an ice bath or things like that. It's got all these great little labels on here so you can see what you're measuring and how much. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to pour in a whole cup of heavy cream. And as you can see, there's a 1 cup line right here. So I'm just going to pour until I get there. There is my 1 cup. Now, if you make like cupcake batter or pancake batter, you can put this in here, put the lid on, turn it, and it will seal it up nice and tight. You can throw it in the refrigerator to keep it good and fresh. I've already got my garlic diced up and minced, so I'm just going to add this in here. We also need a tablespoon of flour. Now this is one of our canisters that you can see, it's got the label here so you can see, oh, I actually need to restock on, say, flour. I like to keep all my baking things in here. So I've got one for my all-purpose flour. I've got my sugars in these, my wheat flour, things like that. And it keeps out all the bugs that you might find. So they're not going after the adhesive glue that are on the packaging that your stuff comes in. So we need a tablespoon of flour. Throw that right on in there. And seriously, you get this lid on here. You hear that snap? All nice on. Watch this. Didn't dump. I love that about this. All right, we also need some salt. Now, if you saw my last video, you noticed that I told you my salt container actually got wet because it's that cardboard stuff. So if it gets wet, guess what? Your salt's going to get wet. It's going to get gross. So I put it in one of my nice airtight containers so it keeps it all perfectly fresh. We need a ½ teaspoon of salt. Now, sometimes you can get away with not doing this. I'm going to add in just a hair of my black pepper to this. So I'm going to take my half a teaspoon again and just kind of coat the bottom. Not a full half teaspoon, probably about a fourth. Go ahead and throw that in there. That way I didn't have to mess up another measuring spoon. All right, we also need, we need a fourth of a cup of Parmigiano Reggiano. Now, you can get, this is actually a 3-cheese mix by the Frico company. You need the shredded version of this, and it's really great if you can get the fresh kind rather than the stuff that's been processed for a long time. So go ahead and put in a full fourth of a cup of this wonderful, delicious cheese. So this is actually a Parmesan Asiago and the Romano cheese that you can mix in. We need to go ahead, we're going to actually end up using a full 3/4 cup, which yes, Tupperware has the 3/4 cup measuring cup. Did you know that? Most of the time, you just have to use a fourth of a cup and a half a cup mixing together. In this case, you can actually use the 3/4, but we're going to keep out a fourth of a cup of this next cheese for later on. So I'm going to go ahead and just reuse my. Now, it calls in the recipe for cheddar, but my family loves Colby Jack. So we're using Colby Jack instead of cheddar. So we're going to get it a full half a cup in there for right now. And I'll get the rest of it here in just a little. So the last thing that we're going to put into our mix and store pitcher is a tablespoon of melted butter. Now this is one of our microwave cereal bowls. If you saw my last video, you also know Emma loves this for using oatmeal and soups and stuff like that. It's a great way to mix all of your stuff in at the same time. So we've got all of our ingredients in here. I'm going to use our wonderful spatula to mix this all up, because we need it all incorporated beautifully into this. It's going to look like a nice white cheese sauce. Now the reason I wanted to use the mix and pour tonight is because it's got this great spout, so it's not going to just splash all over the place or just run everywhere like if you use a bowl to mix it in. So it's a great way to circumvent the mess, which if you know me, I like to do that if I can. Inside my little That's a Bowl right here with the nice airtight seal is my cranberry salsa. Now, as I said, it is absolutely gorgeous, and it's got all these great ingredients in it, fresh as can be. So I'm going to just spoon a little bit over each hunk of cream cheese. Now, the whole idea of this is you then take your cracker and you dip. So you take your cracker just like this, get it all layered up, and then you enjoy. Now that we've gotten our appetizers out and ready for our friends to enjoy, our potatoes are still cooking. They've got about just under 5 minutes before it's time to add the rest of the cheese and do one final stir. We're going to go ahead and prep our salmon. Now, as you can see, I bought the bigger case of salmon because my family loves it. It's healthy, and I save a little bit of money by doing the bigger pack, and then I can make more meals out of it. So we're going to get in here. We're going to cut this open so that we can get our salmon out. Now, this does have the skin on it, which is great because then you get all that wonderful omega-3s and things like that that salmon is known for. So I'm going to pull about half of this out because obviously this whole thing is not fitting in my MicroPro grill. Besides, I've only got 3 people in my family who will eat this. So I'm going to pull about half of it out, and right about here is where I'm going to cut it. And see, now I've got an entire another meal right here ready for me whenever I thaw this back out and cook it for my family, which will make my daughter very, very happy. So we've got our delicious looking salmon right here. I am not taking this gorgeous skin off. It is staying on, and it's going to be delicious. So now that we've got our salmon cut, I'm going to season it here in just. All right. So one of my family's favorite way to season our salmon is with Tony Chachere's. Now, you can do just about any seasonings you want, but this is a great mix. It makes it a really delicious salmon. So I'm just going to take this. I'm going to sprinkle it lightly over my salmon fillet. I don't want to go too heavy because obviously it'll make it too spicy, and my daughter will say, eek! But at the same time, it'll just give it just enough of a kick and just enough of a great flavor that it's going to taste delicious. Now, Here in just a couple of minutes, we're going to throw this in the grill, skin side down first, to help make sure that skin gets nice and crispy. And yes, we're going to be grilling this in the microwave, and it's going to taste like you put it on a grill outside or a wood fire grill, however you like to normally cook it. And it's going to be perfectly cooked in the middle, delicious flaky filet meat. It's going to be wonderful. Now remember, you don't want to ever use any oil in your micropro grill. Now, yes, we put a little bit of melted butter in with our cheese sauce to mix it up. That's perfectly okay. You also don't want to go super heavy on the salt. You know, we're trying to cook healthy here tonight. And if you go over with the salt, it's not going to be that healthy. You're taking away from the natural goodness of this salmon. So you notice I didn't put any other salt on here. Didn't put any pepper even. Just whatever is in that Tony Cachere's. And that is all we're going to do to it. So our microwave has gone off, which means it's time to stir our potatoes and throw in the last little bit of cheese. Now, I really wish you could smell this because it smells incredible. And I mean, the smells are incredible. You can smell the garlic, you can smell the cheese. It's so good. So first things first, we're going to stir this up just a tiny bit. So spatula back into play. We're going to just kind of stir it like this. Make sure everything gets all coated once more. All right, now this is an incredible thing. I want you guys to look at this. I'm going to pick this up just a little bit and look, there's a whole bunch of cheese in there. Do you see how it's not coating the bottom like that? So when I go to take these out and then put my salmon in, I'm basically going to be able to wipe it out with a paper towel. Now, that's something that your George Foreman's can't do. So we're going to sprinkle our cheese, our remaining 1/4 of a cup, just over the top like that. And then our lid is going to go into the grill position this time, just to get the rest of it all perfectly done. So we're going to go with this side now. And our little thing went over here. We're going to push this down just like that. It's going to sit right there. And, oh, I got some stuff over the top. Not a problem. But we're going to put it back in here for about 4 more minutes, just to make sure our potatoes are perfectly cooked. So it's gone off again. It's time to check out our potatoes. Now, yes, I know this looks like a horrible, horrible mess. Now, before I get started, check this out. We're just going to lightly wipe this around. Do you notice how easy this cheese is just wiping up? It's wonderful. This is one of the few things Tupperware makes that can't go into the dishwasher. But it's so worth the money. It's so worth hand washing this thing because seriously, it's a breeze to clean. So we're going to go ahead, pull this off, and check out the color on the top of those potatoes. Is that not beautiful? So we're going to set this lid down over here, and we're going to clean this here in just a second. And I'm going to show you how much of a breeze it is to clean. We're going to dump these delicious potatoes into another bowl. Now I'm going to use my oven mitts because this is very, very hot. We're going to hold it like this and just dump it into this bowl. And I know you're saying, but the cheese is so pretty. I know, I know. Guess what? It'll all get mixed in and be delicious. So as you can see, there's still a little bit of cheese in here. Melted cheese in things normally is a pain in the keister to clean out of anything. Look how that cheese is just seriously scraping out. I can handle cleaning messes like this. So now that we've got that done, look at this. I'm going to take my paper towels and I'm going to literally just wipe the inside of this. And look at this. 1 paper towel, just like that, and it's almost completely clean. Now, obviously with any of these Tupperware things with the anodized aluminum, you always want to make sure that you use a silicone spatula. You never want to use anything metal on it. So as you can see, this is nice, it's coated, it's going to be very gentle on the inside of this. For my salmon, we're going to use the Tupperware tongs, which I love to tease my kids about this. It's like, oh no, I broke them. But you didn't, because these are really, really awesome. They're actually a 3-in-1 tong set. So you got the little fork style right here, you've got the spatula style, or clip them back together, you've got your tongs. They're perfect for using in here. You can keep everything nice and safe. You don't have to worry about damaging anything. We're going to go ahead and we're going to lay our salmon in here. Now we're going to lay it down skin side first, like I said. We're just going to do just like that. And here in just a second, I'll put the lid on once I'm finished cleaning in here. And as you can see, my lid is clean. All we're going to do, put it in on the grill position, so it's going to be all nice and in there. Now I'm actually going to slide this around just a tiny bit so that it sits a little more level. Because it's always nice to have it level. It doesn't necessarily mean you have to, but it's nice to do it that way to start out with. We're going to go put this in for about 4.5 minutes to start out with, and then we're going to flip it. All right, so now it's time to go ahead and flip. As you can see, the salmon is already looking delicious, and it smells incredible. So I'm going to take my tongs, very, very carefully, scoop underneath my skin. Grab it like this, flip it over. Now, as you can hear, that sounds amazing. The skin's getting nice and crisp, just like that. Put this back in on the grill position, and we're going to throw it back in the microwave for another 3.5 minutes. All right, our salmon is 100% done. As you can hear, it is absolutely hot and ready. All right, so we're going to cut this up into 3 different sections, and then we're going to plate it up. As I said, this cleanup is going to be a breeze. There's a whole bunch of juice in here, and it's just getting wiped out like there's nothing there. I'm going to cut into this, get a little bit of that delicious crispy skin. Does that look good? Mm-hmm.
It looks just delicious.
All right. Throw that on your plate, miss. You almost look like you're ready to eat.
Yes.
You want some?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to let Emma show you if it's any.
Mmm.
Is that good?
Mm-hmm.
What about the potatoes?
Let's see if I can use it.
They're just going to break apart on you?
Mmm.
When your kid goes like that, that's a sign you got a good meal. So, that's all for tonight. Bon appetit, my Tupper Maniacs. See you next time. Staring at it. Okay. Waiting for me to give it to you. That's cute. Okay. Inside my little what is this?